lot of people in the world right now don't really know what they really want to do, and they don't, even if they do know what they really want to do in life, they don't know how to go about it.
Young people, they kind of focus on more materialistic or kind of superficial things. It's more important to them to look good. I guess in school they kind of try and teach you about things that matter, but it's not really the cool thing to care about, I guess.
If you don't really understand and get educated when you're 13, 15 years old, you really might not know what's going to happen.
I think it's one of your most crucial years that you're going through. There's a lot of changes physically and emotionally. You start having your own ideas on life.
I think that's kind of the time in our lives where we start to question everything. We question the world, our own beliefs, and what everyone around us is telling us to do and who everyone else is telling us who we should be. But it's more about we need to find in our hearts who we want to be, especially at that age group. I think that's the most important time to find it.
So one of the main elements of the Junior Spiritual Empowerment Program is service. And in our group in Laverton, this has been a topic that we've discussed and deliberated upon over the course of 2 years. And what we've learned is that as a junior try things and act and I guess put their ideas into practice, they learn more about what service looks like and how it could take place in their community. And the idea is that they can try and, I suppose, diagnose the reality of their neighbourhood and their community. How can we help our neighbours, and which neighbours? Is the question.
That's not the whole group. The whole group, like they do somewhere else. You nail something else.
That's really good. Yeah, I agree.
That's in our own time, and then yell group activity.
Brilliant plan.
Oh Lord, I am weak. Strengthen me with thy power.
So most recently they've realised that perhaps the best way to go about it is to try and establish what is needed within a particular neighbourhood by visiting the neighbours and asking the neighbours what's needed. And so the idea is we'll do that, we'll see how it went, reflect about it, and then see if next time our service project can be more tailored to the needs of the community. So a really important element of the program is trying to develop the power of expression of the youngsters, I think above and beyond what they will learn from their school. The curriculum and the books that we deliberate upon helps to do this, and one aspect of that, for example, is the junior trying to express things in their own words and convey concepts of clarity. But I think why this is so important is that as their power of expression becomes more profound and deeper, then in turn they can have a deeper and more meaningful understanding of different concepts about the world around them, their environment, their reality, etc. So it's quite an important aspect of the program to develop not just their vocabulary but just their expressive skills in general.
I think that JY helps us a lot. Like we get to know like friends and like get to know each other more about like what we do and like compared to each other.
And I've been involving in helping a neighbour help walk their dog because the owner was too old to walk it.
So I guess the underlying concept in this juniors program is the twofold moral purpose, where the junior youth develop themselves and also contribute to the betterment of society. So when they come together and they pray and they talk about how they can better themselves, another component, a part of this program is the service component, where they plan how they could create change in the community. And then they can see how, when they do service, they are not only benefiting the community, but they develop necessary attributes, capacities and skills that helps better themselves. What's interesting is that when we were having our junior youth group just now, there are three other junior youth groups that's happening at the same time. So you can really imagine how much of the spiritual forces has been witnessing in Dandenong's community. The transformation you see in individuals like one of my junior youth, from being really shy and quiet, just now so open and expressive. And she actually, like all of them, individually have a talent and the capacity to really think philosophically, and they really all want to make a change deep down. And the junior youth group is really providing them that space to come together and plan and make that change, to contribute.
Turn away from myself and it shall seek as my pleasure. Regardless, I know that thou mayest.
3, 4, boom, boom.
Do not be content.
Boom, boom.
Do not be content.
Boom, boom.
Do not be content with showing friendship in words alone.
Boom, boom.
Do not be content.
Boom, boom.
Do not be content.
Boom, boom, boom.
Do not be content with showing friendship in words alone. Let your heart burn. Let your heart burn. Let your heart burn with love and kindness. Love and kindness. Love and kindness for all who may cross your path.
They decided to, oh, I want to meet my neighbors. And at first they were so nervous, they didn't feel comfortable at all knocking on doors or talking to the neighbors. And then they did, and they saw how welcoming and how eager the neighbors were to meet them, to say hi. And then they became more comfortable, and like towards the end they were like, oh, I want to meet that guy. Oh, let's go back and meet that guy, because he was telling us about his dad, and let's go talk to him too.
Yeah, and the junior youth, they have so much of energies that they release. If you bring 10 of them into a room, like, it just explodes, because they have so much of energies that we can't even keep up. But imagine if the whole entire world, all there's junior youth groups, and they kind of release their energies to service and positivity. How much more can the world advance? And it's amazing to see, like, even now, to see that happening within this group and this few groups that's happening in Dandenong, like how much is already advancing. It's amazing to see that they're the ones having control of what they want to do in their community.
Looking at the actual junior youth themselves, creative attention must be directed to involving them in programs of activity that engage their minds and molds their capacity for service. And the use of arts is really useful in this instance. And one great example is the use of role plays, tied in well with the material that junior youth cover. Another aspect which the junior youth are told to reflect on is the concept of service, what service means to them. How can they serve their community the best? How can they serve themselves and their families? And in a way, they're asked to reflect on service being a selfless act. Rather than expecting things in return, they're doing it selflessly out of their own understanding and recognition of their responsibilities.
With my JY group, I can create ways to help stop littering in like parks, and it will make the environment look cleaner and more nicer for other people to come and visit.
Me and my friends, we come in once a week and we have a lot of fun.
The thing that I enjoy the most is probably having the fact that every week I can meet up with my friends, learn together, have fun together.
We could go to the local nursing home, care for the old and the frail. And we could go around the neighbourhood saying we could like hold a big neighbourhood gathering, and we'd like talk about, we'd pick out a story or something like that, or a prayer or a quotation, and we'd like talk about it, we'd find out the meaning.
Once the junior youth are allowed to reflect on these elements and characteristics, they're able to see themselves as being really an integral part of society, as active agents of their own learning, where they can affect change through reasonable and constructive means.
Remember, let your heart burn with loving kindness for all who may cross your path.